Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin. A little bit of stuff going on, and exactly what we thought would happen with Bitcoin is happening right now in the charts. So we can look at that. This is the daily chart for Bitcoin. You see, we are basically in this exact same range where we spent quite a bit of time, and that was the whole idea here. Thinking 47K would turn out to be good support. Has done that. You see, we've dipped below it twice here. Nothing crazy. Bounced off it here. Bounced off it here as well. Monday will be a big day to see what happens with pretty much everything in lots of markets, stock market, even the global stock market and Bitcoin and crypto because of the Evergrande news. I mean, right now we are seeing exactly what was expected from Bitcoin, which was staying in this zone, having trouble getting above 49,000. This would be 49,237. We haven't even actually really got close to that yet. But 47K supporting, looking like good support, but the volatility very, very low. I mean, 3 days in a row, barely moved. This was a lot here, but barely moved for these other 2 days. So volatility down. Usually that could lead up to a massive move for Bitcoin. And looking at this Bitcoin margin data, the shorts and longs have been kind of about the same, sticking around this 40,000, almost 41,000 level. Shorts up 2.8%, but in all honesty, around the same as well. So we are still in the exact same spot we were in just a few days ago when we talked about this before as well. We'll go to the 7 day here. But this can really go either way for Bitcoin because of the longs and shorts explosion here. I mean, you just see we were at 39,847 and up around this 40, almost 41,000. So it's not an insane big increase in longs. Whereas it is a pretty big increase in shorts where we were under 900. I mean, around 900. And this popped up to almost 1,500. So both ways, though, have gone up a lot. So that's why I think it's important to look at these levels, which would be 47,000, 49,000. If we break below 47, I mean, we would have to break it more than, we saw these go to 46.7, basically 46.7 for both of them. We would probably have to get closer to 45 to see those shorts start to win and the longs maybe get liquidated. On the other side, we would have to get above 49, which we haven't even gotten close to. But if we get above this next resistance, then we could see the opposite with the shorts getting liquidated and push the price up. So we are in a very weird spot for Bitcoin with its long and shorts. And we have the hash rate here continuing to recover. It is at about these levels, which would be the last kind of resistance zone. I mean, you can't really put TAs on the hash rate because I don't think that would work. But we are currently above this 131. We're at 136, almost 137, and then obviously we want to get back to 180, getting above that, setting a new all-time high for the hash rate is going to be a big deal, especially for the price and everything. But looking at the hash rate and looking at the price of Bitcoin, it's a very similar line. Leading indicator is what I've been kind of looking at it as, and we see the dip here, which maybe we're in the middle of this dip because this happened a little bit ago. And as a leading indicator, it would show us that it dips and recovers and continues pushing upwards, which would kind of match this to a T. I mean, if you put that chart, it looks identical. We've got this is the dip, and then we're kind of we should be seeing it curl back up into an upward motion here. But the one thing would be the Evergrande news being an outlier, which could make it so that this so the hash rate wouldn't necessarily be correlated as much if an outside factor like Evergrande came in and disrupted everything. But we do have these tweets here talking about kind of past cycles for Bitcoin, showing Bitcoin rallies in 2 and 2% wise. I don't know if that means. If that's the case, then 300K next year looks real, and these charts show just different fractals from before, last halvings and stuff, and what the moves would have done. So right now, everything is its own, but if it replicates what the last halving did, we'd be looking at like $345,000 Bitcoin. These are over $1 million for each of these, so who knows about that in the short term here. But I still do think that we are looking at a super cycle deal with Bitcoin where we break away from these cycles and there won't be these local tops into a bear market for a couple years, then the halving happens back into a bull market. I think we're going to move towards this type of market where Bitcoin no longer relies on the halving for a bull market event. It kind of just goes through these adoptions where over time it'll be harder to get. That'll make the price need to go up, supply and demand. But there's more adoption, companies adding to their balance sheets, countries adopting it. It's something that is becoming a very big deal, and with that breaks away from these cycles into more of a grinding upward move with less of a bear market chance, where there'll still be corrections. We've seen that this year. There's still been corrections and crashes, if you want to call it that, with 50%, but we've recovered pretty good in a few months, and that's how a normal market operates. It's not getting flooded with cash from the Fed and all that to be propped up. This is just another graph here showing, this where we are right now, 2017 to 2021, and the orange is 2013 to 2017, and fairly similar. Nothing, I mean, not identical, but pretty similar. Nothing's going to repeat itself 100%. That just wouldn't make sense. But should this cycle, basically the last cycle, repeat itself, then we would be looking at, a $254,000 Bitcoin, and that would say that the top would be 254,000. And then, like I said, I think we could be going into a super cycle type of stuff and break away from those 4-year cycles. But 254K, I don't even think that is unreasonable for end of the year, beginning 2022. But I do think a lot of people are going to see that when we're talking about bear market and stuff, you can't be in a bubble like everyone says, and Bitcoin's in a bubble, it's going to pop and all that. You can't be in a bubble if people are saying that. And the same thing with the stock market and all of this. It's not a bubble if people are calling it a bubble, because the definition of a bubble is that everybody thinks that everything's great and you can't go wrong. And that's not the case if there's people calling out being a bubble. So, and then to wrap this video up, this is the Evergrande news. It is a developer for China. They're involved in Chinese real estate and development of that real estate and everything. And they are likely to default. You can see right here, Evergrande's collapse has begun by entering technical default. Evergrande by itself is likely to default on more debt in value than the entirety of all assets that imploded during the entirety of the U.S. subprime crisis. That is the financial crisis 2008, where the Lehman Brothers got thrown under the bus, and they actually went defaulted, and all of the financial crisis stuff happened. That's what China's looking at, and the big question is China going to allow this company to fail? And if they do, will that send shockwaves through the global markets and just, make everything kind of hurt because of it, which is something that could definitely happen. And I think short term, if this is to happen, if Evergrande falls and collapses, that short term, there will be lots of fear and collapse in markets and the stock market. But we've already seen the Fed will bail out the stock market, and by doing that, will bail out Bitcoin and crypto because of printing money, and people have realized Bitcoin's ability to protect them from that. But even if the Fed doesn't bail this out and the stock market falls, I think short term, everything could fall. Medium term, Bitcoin, things like gold even, will recover first and fastest, and then the stock market will recover after that, because this is going to directly affect stock markets. And Bitcoin can, if this is a true time where people are worried about money and worried about, their investments, that Bitcoin could be viewed as a safe haven asset, just like gold is. But time will tell. Monday will be a big discovery to see how China reacts to this company, if it bails them out, if it takes them over, or how they react to it and how it's going to affect the rest of the world and the rest of the markets, really. But as always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video.